Salutations, family, and welcome back to Inside the Eye of the Storm. Here recently, one of the most polarizing and controversial talking points in social media has been, should men undertake the Herculean task of being stepfathers? This is a very nuanced debate because many relationships have different dynamics and different circumstances that we must consider when weighing in on this whole topic. First, you have women who've been widowed or left to provide for their children due to the untimely demise of their significant others. While on the other hand, you have women who've been the victim of domestic violence, and for the benefit and the well-being and the welfare of their children and themselves, they've been left to fend for themselves and basically to flee relationships in order to try to salvage a situation that's irreparable, and really it's an unnurturing and unhealthy environment to be rearing and raising children in. Then we have the third topic, which is a large majority of females who've decided to partake in be promiscuous. They've decided to go out and have hot girl summers, and they've choose to sire children by numerous males in different sexual trysts and different sexual escapades, and none of these gentlemen have any inclination of sticking around and helping these women raise these children. While considering all this information, I was scouring the internet earlier this week, and I came across a very prevalent video that would help me weigh in on this matter, and I can use as a backdrop to give social commentary on this whole issue. I like to call this episode of Inside the Eye of the Storm, when being a stepfather goes wrong. We're going to jump right into the clip, family, and I'm going to come back and give a little bit of social commentary and a little bit of masculine perspective to the whole situation. Let's jump in and take a look at it right now.
That's my mother. Stay on that business. Hey, Barbershop, I told you that. I told you that shit. 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 So first, hey, let me go ahead and call this mama real quick, and we go ahead and get to the bottom of it. All right, you go ahead and do that. And she better say the right shit, because if she don't, I'm about to get you swinging in this. On God. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
I'm trying to poke you, man.
Yo. Hey, that's not answering the phone, huh? Hey, that's probably what I thought ass.
Hey, bro. Man.
Like I told you. Hey,
get him out your son.
That's not your motherfucking son. That's my motherfucking son. This you want to be Russell Wilson so motherfucking bad. This you want to be Russell Wilson so bad. Well, you don't even got a fucking Sierra.
Hey, bro, you going too damn. Hey, bro.
I need all this little fight. Hey, she said I answered the phone, huh?
Hey, bro, all right. I'm really showing you. You're going too damn much.
Yeah, all right. Oh, out here.
Hey, like I said, watch your mouth for the time.
Ain't your motherfucking son.
Hold on. Hey, Keisha.
Keisha.
Hey, Keisha. Hey, she up in here trying to take Sean with him.
Let me get a little closer. What?
You ain't taking her nowhere until you pay your child support.
What? Child support? That little bitty ass shit? I can pay that shit right now on God.
Do it then.
Child support. Shit out your ass.
Do it.
Hey, take that outside, man.
Hey, Keisha gonna really let this disrespect me in front of my mother's son? With your thought ass?
Oh, man.
Hey, call that. Hey, I'm getting my motherfucking son. We going. Hey, Mike, I appreciate you, but I need my son. Hey, let's wrap this shit up. I need my motherfucking son, man.
Alright, bro.
Give me my motherfucking son. Hey, don't give my son no more. I'm gonna slap the shit out your ass. Yeah, alright. Yeah.
Come on, like shit, man.
Yeah, alright. Let's go. Alright.
Man, you gonna let him take him like that?
Shit out your ass.
Come on, Russell. Was you letting him take? Hey, man, it's his son. Man, I'm gonna go ahead. I ain't trying to fight. Oh, man, this man. Yeah, he took it.
That shit crazy, man.
You gonna get him, man?
And before I really dive into this situation, family, and I go into the breakdown and the nuances of this whole situation, I like to say first and foremost, from the perspective of the mother's boyfriend or the stepfather or the significant other, the current significant other of the mother, first and foremost, you are always a man first, no matter what happens. I understand that that's this man's child. I understand that he feels like he has a biological right to this child. That's his child and it's not your child. But the paramount thing in this whole situation is respect and respecting your masculinity and your manhood. As this young man in this barbershop being there with this young man, the young man is there with this woman's child under her permission. I understand he may be in not be in agreement with the father, with the child being here. But first of all, you do not approach a grown man in this manner. The first thing I would have told this man, hold on, back off, respect me as a man, under the threat of physical violence. When you see stuff like this transpire, this guy approached this guy, and I understand wholeheartedly. I've been on both sides of this situation. I know as a man, you can be heated, you can be hot-headed, and sometimes you can act out of anger, and you let your anger get the best of you, you can act out of hand. I understand the mother's significant other or the stepfather, he keeps a cool head and cooler heads prevail on a lot of occasions, but he needed to be more stern in this situation and let the biological father of this child know, hold on, slow down, pump your brakes. First and foremost, you're going to respect me as a man. That would have helped de-escalate this situation a whole lot in this barbershop. This young man that's the biological father of this child, he acts in a very hyper-aggressive manner. Usually when you see guys act in this manner of hyper-aggression, it's usually there to compensate for something or to cover up a lack of something that they have. This guy, he came in the barbershop, he jumps right on this guy, he's trying to be hyper-aggressive. It's like a dog doing a lot of barking. But like the old saying goes, family, usually the loudest guy in the room is the weakest guy in the room. To me, I understand that the mother's boyfriend or the significant other or the stepfather, whatever he may be, is trying to keep a cooler head. I understand he has no legal right to this child because he's not the biological father to this child. But first and foremost, you must establish to this other man that you are a man just like he is, and he needs to respect you as a man. That's the first thing that we need to get under hand, and we need to get a understanding right here first and foremost from this segment. Now that we've established the rules of engagement and how these two men should be interacting with each other first and foremost, we're going to jump into breaking down this whole situation. Me, myself, I'm a gentleman that likes to think of myself as a three-dimensional thinker, because like the old saying goes, there's always three sides to a story. It's your side, the other person's side, and then there's the truth. And when I look at situations like this, I like to step back. I like to overview the whole situation, take in all the factors, and then I like to weigh in on what my opinion is on the situation instead of jumping headlong into a situation with just an opinion. There's a lot of nuances in this situation. First and foremost, I'm going to take the side of the gentleman who's the significant other or the stepfather to the child. I've been in this situation before. First and foremost, the only reason that young man is in that barbershop with that man, his mother's significant other, because there is a lack. There is a deficiency in a relationship with his father that young man is not being fulfilled with. That young man is in that barbershop with that man because his mother has asked him to take him there. If the father was present, if the father was doing what he was supposed to do, 9 times out of 10, that man would not be there with that young man getting his hair cut. But because of the lack of the father being there and doing his fatherly duties and performing his fatherly duties, there has left a deficit that needs to be filled. And this young man that's acting as the mother's significant other or the stepfather is filling that void. That is the job of a significant other or a stepfather. A lot of times when you see these men and they enter in these relationships and they take on this woman as their paramour, you have to understand A man becomes a steward over a woman when he engages with that woman in a relationship. When he becomes a steward of that woman, not only is he responsible for the provision and the well-being of that woman, he is also the steward over the well-being and the provision of her children. She is a package deal. And I see a lot of men, they jump online now and they talk about how bad of a deal it is to be a stepfather to women's children now and engage in single mothers in relationships. And you may think that, but in a lot of situations, men meet these women, they find that they are significantly attracted to these women enough that they still, even though these women have children from previous relationships, they still want to engage these women in relationships. Once you know that that woman has children from previous relationships and you still choose to engage this woman in a relationship, just know you are not only the steward of that woman, you are also the steward of her young children, and you must watch over them as they're your own children. So this man taking that young boy to that barbershop, it's a bonding experience for this man that's his mother's significant other or his stepfather. It's a bonding experience. A bonding experience he should be sharing with his father. But because the father is absentee or the father is not on his job, then this man has to step in and he has to fulfill that role. I understand this 100%. Also, I can't commend the young man that's acting as the substitute father or the stepfather. I can commend him for keeping a cooler head, because this situation could have easily escalated out of hand and turned into fisticuffs. It comes to the point when you're acting as the significant other of the mother or the stepfather, and you have to step back because you have to understand it's still not your biological child. You can support the mother, you can give her moral support, you can stand behind her in her interactions with the biological father of this child, but you are not the biological father of this child, and you should not be jumping up front and trying to be able to tell this man anything about his child. One of the problems I did see with the significant other or the stepfather of this child, he wanted to play messenger boy and convey what he heard over the phone from the mother to the biological father about him not paying his child support payments. As the significant other or the stepfather, you have nothing to do with the legal ramifications between that mother and the father. Right now, if a child support case is brought forth, you will never be introduced into that case because you have no legal responsibility or no legal recourse to that child. What you should have did, you should have put her on speakerphone, let her have to say whatever she had to say to that child's biological father, and what came of it from them. Another smart thing that I seen that the significant other or the stepfather did, he allowed that man to exit the barbershop with his son. That could have been one of the turning points. It could have been the spark that lit off a powder keg of violence in that barbershop, and him trying to intervene and from that man leaving with his son. He did the right thing by letting the biological father leave with his son, because he did exactly what he should have did. He contacted the mother. He let the mother know the status that man took that child. And if that man had no legal right to take that child because the mother had sole custody of that child, then the proper authorities would have been alerted, and that man would have had to face the legal ramifications of his actions from removing that boy from that barbershop. 9 times out of 10, he'll be charged with kidnapping. So right there, that's the breakdown of my perspective of being the significant other and or being the stepfather in the situation. To me personally, outside of him not asserting his manhood and his masculinity and not letting this man push him around, he almost handled the situation almost perfectly. I don't like the fact that he did choose to be the messenger boy and to convey the message about the child support over the phone between the mother and the biological father. I don't like that aspect of it, because then you're putting yourself in a very tenuous situation that you have nothing to do with. So now I'm going to jump on and I'm going to play devil's advocate, because I've also been the biological father in this situation. Being the biological father in this situation, there's a lot of nuance to this situation. You have to understand, as the biological father of this child, that he may have a baby mother that's a little on the promiscuous side. She may choose to engage different men or a multitude of men in different time frames. And a lot of times you see in the black community, women move from man to man and they jump from man to man. This man may have seen his children's mother go through a number of men in a short time frame, and he feels that his son's being exposed to too many different strangers, and he's being around too many strangers in the absence of his mother. I can 100% agree with that. Right now, there's a large percentage of children being victimized by predatory individuals, especially in the black community, because they have such great access to these children, because you have so many single mothers out here that's choosing to participate in these random relationships. They're not properly vetting these men, and they're giving these men free access to their children. Not only they're giving them access to their children, they're allowing these men to take their children out, to be alone with their children, and these men have ample opportunity to prey on these children. So I can understand that from the biological father's standpoint. A lot of times you get women and they've been scorned, and they like to use children as pawn in this back and forth passive aggressive manner in order to try to spite the father. I don't know that to be the case in this situation, but we all don't know the case in this situation. There's a lot of nuance to this situation, and all we can do is step back and take a look at it from a three-dimensional perspective. When you look at this whole situation, family, you have the biological father on this hand, you have the mother and the significant other and the stepfather on this hand, and in the middle, you have the most important component of the whole situation, which is the young boy. The young boy did not need to be subjected to what took place in this barbershop. What we need to realize and what we need to do first and foremost is to take a step back, look at these situations, look at the nuance of these situations, and we need to understand the people most impacted by situations like this. And first and foremost, it's the child. Of course, a lot of us are scorned. We feel that we have this vitriol or this hatred for people that once in the past we had immense love for, or at least enough affection to bring a child into this world. Once that feeling of love or that affection has waned, we decide to go our separate ways, but these children are still left in the middle, and these children are ultimately the beneficiaries of what we pour out into them. When you see negative, toxic situations like this, all we're doing is negatively impacting the psyche of these young men and women in our community that have to go on one day to become adults. We must understand, folks, our children are like sponges. They pick up what we do and what we say, and they internalize it, and that's how they move forward, and they build their personalities and their understanding of the world. Right now, family, this is a very nuanced case. I'm glad you joined me for this so we can break it down. Please hop into the comments and give me your take on this. What do you think is the proper protocol with this? Do you think the significant other or the stepfather was right? Or do you think the biological father had every right to come in that barbershop with that kind of vitriol and claim his biological son from this man who has no right to be there with him? Jump in the comments, let me know. And if you like this kind of content, folks, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can join me here for every episode of Inside the Eye of the Storm. I'm just trying to give you a little perspective, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from a masculine viewpoint. Thank you, family, and I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.